Part 100. The Perils of Gossip. Those who fabricated the lies and were most active in spreading them were solely from Abdullah ibn Ubay's group of hypocrites. They were mostly comprised of the Hazraj, but only because Abdullah ibn Ubay was a leader of the Hazraj. However, 3 believing companions succumbed and engaged in gossip. For example, "Have you heard what they are saying about so-and-so?" They were Mistah ibn Uthatha, Hassan ibn Thabit, and Hamna bint Jash. While they did not lie about Aisha or even accuse her, merely gossiping about the topic was a grave blunder. Aisha remarked,
"Zainab was the only other wife of the Prophet who rivaled me, but Allah protected her tongue due to her religiosity."
Hamna intended to raise Zainab's rank by lowering Aisha's, but Zainab's piety prevented her from joining in the gossip. Zainab said to the Prophet,
"O Messenger of Allah, I will not cause my eyes and my ears to fall into sin. By Allah, I only know good of Aisha."
Once again, Aisha's decorum and dignity is unparalleled in describing the events. She provided excuses for the gossipers while praising her co-wife for her piety, despite having previous tensions. Likewise, Zainab maintained her integrity and remained honest rather than utilizing the opportunity for her own gain. After a month, Aisha recovered enough to leave the house. She went with Mistah, Mistah's mother and Abu Bakr's cousin, to the outdoor bathroom area. As they walked, Mistah tripped and blurted,
"May Mistah be cursed."
Aisha was shocked and immediately reprimanded her.
"Woe to you! How can you curse your own son when he attended the Battle of Badr?"
Badr was such a blessed and historic event that the attendees were held in extremely high esteem. It is also worth noting the honorable nature of the mother of the believers, who was so quick to defend someone behind their back. Mistah replied,
"Don't you know what he said?"
Aisha, of course, had no idea, so Mistah told her, and Aisha fainted on the spot. She was so innocent and pure that she could not imagine that people could possibly say such things. Aisha immediately returned home. She narrated,
"I felt worse than my initial sickness."
The Prophet entered upon her, not knowing that she now knew. Aisha asked for permission to stay at her parents' house, and the Prophet granted it. She asked her mother,
"My dear mother, what are the people saying about me, and why didn't you tell me?"
Her mother, Ruman, replied,
"My daughter, be easy on yourself. By Allah, never does a good man love his wife as much as your husband loves you, except that people talk about her."
Despite trying to console her, her response effectively confirmed that people were indeed slandering her. Aisha responded,
"Subhan Allah, glory be to Allah. Have the people really said this?"
Once again, her innocent mind could not comprehend how, or why, people would stoop so low. Narrating the story, Aisha said,
"That night, I cried, and the tears would not stop. I cried until the break of dawn, without tasting the sweetness of sleep. I continued to cry during the day, and my tears would not stop flowing, until I thought that my liver would burst open from the pain. A lady from the Ansar then asked for permission to enter, and she sat beside me and cried with me."
Aisha's family home was on the outskirts of Medina, so the Prophet now had some space to investigate. He called his closest and most trusted family members, Ali ibn Abi Talib and Usama ibn Zayd. Ali was the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law, interacting with his family on a daily basis. Usama was born in the Prophet's own house, son of the famous Zayd ibn Haritha. His mother was Ayman, the Prophet's own nanny. He was thus nicknamed the Prophet's beloved son of the Prophet's beloved. Usama strongly defended Aisha and rejected the accusations in the most emphatic terms. Ali said,
"O Messenger of Allah, Allah has not restricted you, and there are plenty of women to choose from. But if you want to ask about her character, then why not ask her maidservant, Barira?"
Ali's relatively neutral response displeased Aisha, but he did not accuse her or imply her guilt. The Prophet called Barira forward for questioning. Barira was a former slave whom Aisha purchased in order to free. In her appreciation and loyalty, she remained close to Aisha and served her as a free woman. The Prophet asked Barira, "O Barira, have you seen anything in Aisha that has caused you any doubt?" Barira grew increasingly nervous. She wanted to remain loyal to Aisha but would not dare lie to the Prophet. She reluctantly disclosed,
"By Allah, O Messenger of Allah, I have not seen anything doubtful from her, but sometimes when she is supposed to knead dough, she falls asleep, and the goat eats the dough.
Barira's supposed confession comically highlights Aisha's purity and innocence, as her falling asleep when doing chores was considered her biggest shortcoming.